Hello. I'd like to give honor and thanks to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and I'd like to thank Him for everything He have done in my life and everything He have done in my family's life and all the things He has showed me in His Word and just all the miracles and everything He have done. I just want to give Him honor and glory. And amen. I remember when I was young, I asked the Lord, one night when I was going to sleep, I asked the Lord, I said, Lord, and this was a time that I was wondering so much stuff about the Lord. You know, I was just questioning a lot of things, and the Lord was revealing things and showing me things. And I remember asking the Lord, and I said, Lord, I said, you know what? I said, if you could just show me a little bit of hell, and if I see it, I know I would be a changed man, and it would help me know that it's real, and it wouldn't be no question. I wouldn't be no question about, you know, serving you. So I remember going to sleep that night, and I had a dream, that it was we was in an area, and there was a guy that was sitting in a chair, and he was in a paralyzed state. He couldn't move, he couldn't wink. It was just like he was just sitting there paralyzed. And there was two guys that was standing behind him, and they had his hands on the chair. They had their hands on the chair. Two guys standing behind him, sorry. And there was one guy that was in front of him. And this dream is the only dream. Well, only had two dreams that I'm almost for sure God was showing me that it was hell. Only had two dreams in my whole life out of lots of dreams. I mean, I can't even count how many dreams, but these are the only two dreams that I'm thinking that God has showed me of hell that didn't have no audio. So the two guys was behind him in the chair, and there was one guy that was in front of him, and the guy was in a paralyzed state. And I noticed when I was looking at the guy in the dream, he had nails. It was nails sticking out of his head, like carpentry nails sticking all out of his head, all over his head. And I was like, man, what happened to him? So I can see that there's something happening, that they's talking and they saying stuff. These three individuals, they saying stuff to this guy, and but I can't hear. I it's like somebody muted the audio. I can't hear anything. So the guy sitting there in a paralyzed state with nails sticking out his head. So I seen the guy in front of him, and when I was looking at him, the guy was in front of the guy, and he was bending down in front of the guy that was inside, that looking at the guy, talking to the guy inside the chair, and I can see him. He was doing like this to the guy. He was like, so he was saying something to the guy, but I couldn't hear it, and he was just in front of the guy, and the guy was just sitting there paralyzed, looking at in a paralyzed state in the dream, and he just couldn't move or nothing. And so he was I could see his mouth moving like he's saying something to the guy that's paralyzed in his chair. And then I seen the two guys behind the chair. All of a sudden they just I guess he said something that was, I don't know what he said, but it must be, I don't know. But it was something to make them react. So the guys behind the chair, the whole time, they were just sitting there, just nodding and just listening to the guy. I mean, just act like they were listening to the guy, whatever he was saying. So the guy was just sitting in front of the chair, in front of the guy in the paralyzed chair. He was like, then I seen the two guys behind the chair. They said, like they was laughing, like they was laughing at the guy. I mean, like they were laughing at him, and the guy was just sitting there paralyzed. And the guy that was in front of the chair, that was in front of the guy, he reached up under this guy's seat and he pulled out a hammer and he pulled out a nail, and the guys were still behind him. The two guys behind the chair behind the guy was still laughing, and he put this nail on his head and went to nailing this nail in his head violently, and I was sitting there looking at it in my dream, and I was like, man, and I didn't hear no audio, and I was like, man, I said, man, this guy's driving a nail in his head, in this guy's head, and the guy was paralyzed, and he was just paralyzed. He couldn't move. He wasn't blinking. He wasn't seeing anything. As they was driving this nail in his head, he was just like in a paralyzed state. And I'm telling you, I'm telling you, I didn't hear no audio, none in the dream. Like somebody had muted the audio. But man, I just can't even express this enough. When I looked in this guy's eyes in this dream, when I looked at his eyes, I'm telling you, even though there was no audio, this guy was paralyzed. He couldn't say anything. I could look in his eyes. His eyes was telling me. His eyes was speaking to me. When I looked at his eyes was his eyes was speaking to me, and I could tell he was feeling every last drop of this pain. I could look in this guy's eyes, and it could just tell me the story. His eyes just said something. I'm telling you, I can't even exaggerate it enough. I can't even explain the look this guy had in his eyes. He couldn't say anything. He could not move. But I'm telling you, this look he had in his eyes, man, I just knew that he was feeling this pain. So after the dream, you know what? Even though I had asked the Lord to show me this, and to show me this thing, and I promised the Lord something. I promised the Lord that what I would do, and man, I remember after that, I still was I was still living a life in sin. I was still living a life that was very opposite of God. I mean, very opposite of God. I mean, things He wasn't pleased of. And but when I had came back, you know, came back and I had came to, you know, when I came to my senses, that's what you can say, when I came to my senses back in 2007, and I prayed and things, when God delivered me, and when I got things back in order with God, I want to tell y'all, hey, look, this is, and I'm serious, don't never think you so far away from God. And the enemy try to make me seem like, he's like, man, you done seen God, you know God, and you just so far away he can't even reach you. Man, that's far from the truth. Matter of fact, when the enemy tell you that, and tell you that God is so far away, and he's so distant from you, I mean, and the enemy made me think God was on the other side of the world, but really, God is right next to you. He's closer to you than ever before. Don't ever let the enemy tell you that. but 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 also but anyway, back in 2000 and maybe 2010, I had somebody close to me pass away, and it was a friend of mine, and it was kind of close to me. And I remember I said, I said, Lord, I said, Lord, I really don't know where, I said, it really kind of bothered my spirit, because I didn't really know. I said, Lord, Lord, did they make it? Did they make it into heaven, or did they make it into hell? So I'm asking Lord these questions, and I said, Lord, I said, I said, if only, I said, man, I said, even though they's gone away, I said, but they parents and their kids and family and stuff is still behind, And I said, Lord, Lord, I would love for you to show me something, or to show me something, Lord, that only that they would know, that's between her and them, that they would see it, man, and they could change their life, and they would want to get saved. So I ended up having a dream that night, and I was in a motel. It looked like a motel. I ain't gonna say it was a motel. It was a house, or it kind of favored a hotel, but it was a hallway, and and it had rooms. It had rooms down this hallway. It had rooms on each side of the room, just like a hotel would be. So I went inside the room, and when I went inside the room, it was a room, and it had a couch. It had a couch on the left side and a couch on the right side of the room, and it was like a small room. And when I went inside the room, it was her and a man that was sitting in the couch, and on the other side it was two people sitting on the other side of the room in the couch. And I said, when I walked in the door, the guy that was sitting beside my friend that had passed away, when I walked in the door, the guy saw me walk in the door, and he said, hey, he said, there go my mighty man of valor right there. And when the person that passed away, when she saw me, she was like looking like she was looking at me like amazed, like, how did you get here? Or why is you here? And she was like, and the guy said, hey, there go my mighty man of valor right there. So I said, oh, I'm sorry, cause in my dream I said, oh man, I done interrupted something. So I said, oh, I'm sorry. I said, and so I closed the door, and I said, man, I really want to talk to her, I really want to talk to her, and talk to her one last time. So I closed the door, and I went back in the hallway. So I looked across the hall, and I seen a door that was cracked. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to go inside this other room, and maybe when they's finished, maybe she'll come out and she'll talk to me or speak to me or something. So I went into the other room. And I cracked open the door, and the light from the hallway was shining inside of this room. This room was completely dark. But when I cracked the door, the light shined into the room from the hallway. And when I opened up the door, I seen her in there, and she was sitting down. She was sitting down in a chair. She was sitting down in a chair, and then it was her again. It was two of hers, and one was sitting down in the chair, and one was standing up in front of her, and this is again just like the first dream. I cannot hear no audio, and I can see her speaking down to herself in this chair, and I can see her just talking down to herself. She was like, and she was pointing at herself, but it was no audio. Just all I could see her mouth. And when she was talking down to herself in the chair, I seen when she was talking down to herself in the chair, I can see her in the chair, and every time she would talk to herself, whatever was being said, which I don't know, but I can see her going like this. She was like whatever was being said was hurting her, and she was just like she was disappointed in herself. I really don't know, because I didn't hear no audio, but the person, she was just and then she got up out of the chair. And with a sad face. She had a sad face, and she was walking towards me. And then when she got up out the chair, she had a sad face and walking towards me. The other her that was just talking down to her was watching her walk towards me, and she had just an ugly look on her face, like a green smile, and just an ugly look on her face, and she was seeing herself walk away and walk towards me, and she came towards me, and she looked me in my eyes, and she reached out, and she handed me a card. She handed me a purple card, and she gave it to me, and she put her hands on my shoulder. She put her hands on my shoulder, and she looked at me, and she shook her head, and she walked away. And then I came out that I'm still in this dream. I woke up out of that dream, but I'm still dreaming. But I woke up out of that dream, and then I dreamed I was inside of a room. And I woke up out of the dream, and I'm inside the room. I woke up in the bed. I said, man, I just dreamed about her. And I said, man, it just seems so real. And so I'm laying in the bed, and I reached behind the pillow, and there was a card, the purple card, just like she had gave me in the dream. And there was a purple card there, but I'm still dreaming, but it's like a 2-part dream. So she gave me the card. So I looked at the card. I was like, man, I said, and I still got the card. So I turned the card over. And the card said, it says to, it was address. It said to me. It said to, and it had my name, and it said from, and it had her name, and it had sincerely, from, and it had hell, and big letters. It said sincerely from hell in big letters. Man, I woke up out of that dream. I put my hands on my head, and I said, man, I'm just praying that was just a dream. I said, I'm hoping that's not true. Don't take it on me. Don't take it from me to say, hey, don't say, you know what? What are you trying to say? She's in hell? She's in heaven? I'm not saying that at all. Because really, I don't know. I really don't know. But one thing I am telling you, I can tell you the dreams that I had, and I can tell you the truth. I can tell you the truth of the dreams I had. I ain't got no power to put nobody in no hell, and I ain't got no power to put nobody in no heaven. But only thing I can tell you is I had these dreams. I had this dream, and I only can tell you what happened. And the Lord is telling me to share this message. That's all I can do. I mean, if it's up to me, I wouldn't want to do it. But the Lord he putting on my heart so heavy to share these messages. So don't get it. I'm not trying to claim to be anything. I'm not trying to claim to be anything. Only thing I'm just doing is just giving y'all my testimonies and things, and telling you things how I dealt with God in my life, and things that He has showed me. Whether if y'all believe it is the truth or not, it's totally up to y'all. But anyhow, I woke up out of that dream, and the dream disturbed me so much. I could not get any sleep. It disturbed me so much of what I saw, and it made me think back to my other dreams. So it disturbed me so much. So I asked God. I said, man, I said, God, I said, these dreams, this dream, and now the other dream. I said, I said, it's disturbing me so much. I said, I can't even sleep now. And I said, Lord, I said, please to take this off of my heart, and this what I'm feeling. I said, Lord, I said, just show me a little bit of, if you just show me a little bit of heaven, show me a little bit of heaven. And I said, and then in my mind, I said, man, I am asking too much of God. I said, Lord, I said, I know you ain't gonna show me that. I said, I'm asking too much of you. So I went to sleep, and I went to sleep again, and I had a dream that I was in a place. It almost kind of looked like Paris or France or something. I really don't know what the place was in the dream, but it was just a place I ain't never been before. It kind of looked like across seas, or maybe like Italy or something. So I dreamed that I was at this bridge, and this guy, he had a picture book, and he came up to me. He said, man, I want to show you something. So he came up to me, and he had a picture book. He said, I want to show you something. So I took the picture book, and I was looking through the book, and I was seeing like I saw like the I was seeing like stuff which people thought was, like statues and stuff. I want to say I saw like the Statue of Liberty in the book. I seen the tower in Paris, and I was just seeing all kind of pictures that stood out. Like, man, yeah, this is the Statue of Liberty, and this is Paris, and I'm flipping the pages through this picture book, and I flipped the page, and I turned, and I was looking at the picture book, and I looked, and it was a picture, and the picture, it looked like it was illuminating, like it was illuminating in the colors of it, and it looked so bright. It just looked at the colors of it, and I was like, man, what is this? And it had it was a building. It was a building, and well, it was a road. I'm gonna say this part first, so y'all can try to get a picture of it. It was a road, and the road, it went, and it curved just like a road, just like a road would. It curved, and it went in so many directions. It went up, down, left, right. It was a road, and the road was so long that it went to a point. You can see something that's so long, and it looks so long that it looked like it comes to a point, and the road went to a point, and it was so long, and it curved, went up and down, and when I looked up in it, when I looked on the picture, and I looked and saw the building, and then it almost looked like I had kind of went inside of the picture or something, some kind of way. I don't know, but I remember looking at the picture and kind of looking like I was in the picture, and there was a building, and the only thing I can kind of say what it kind of favored. Have you ever been like, have you ever seen pictures of like over in like across maybe in like other countries, and it's round. It's the buildings be round, and they have all kind of designs in it, and the building was round. It was round, and it had designs and stuff, almost like a cathedral style, but it was like a round, and when I looked up at the top, it had like all kind of gems, like rubies and emeralds, and it was stuck. I mean, it was like stuck in the certain places in the top of the roof, and it was just in certain designs, and the way it was put in, and the way it was sticking out, and the way it was done. When I looked at the picture, I said in a dream, and me coming from a family of builders and knowing something about carpentry, I kind of can look at something and kind of tell maybe, hey, this could have been built like this, or this could have been built like that. But the way that this building was constructed, and the way it was built, and the designs of it, and the way the designs was different, and the way the top of the building and these big rubies and emeralds and everything was sticking out the top of it, the way they was put in place, I can't even begin to tell you how it was made, because it's like somebody took a gem, and some of it is like somebody had took diamonds and gems and had stuck it into other gems, and like it was coming out of other gems, and it was formed in a certain way that certain gems and certain stuff was sticking out of other gems. It just looked so unnatural and supernatural. So the building was over the road. This little cathedral thing was over the road, and it was big, and it was over the road, and all these gems and stuff was sticking out of the top of the sides of the roofs and out of the top of it, and like somebody was had put it in, had molded it and stuff, and this building was built over the whole road, and every curve in the road, how far it went, the building was built over the road and went with the road. It went with the road. The whole building went over the road and was built exactly the way the road moved, the way it went down and everything. It was built over the whole entire road. And it went, and the building that was built over the road, and all these gems and stuff went just as far as the road did. It went to a point too. It went just as far as the road did, and it was curving and everything. And I remember saying, I said, man, I haven't never seen nothing like this. I ain't never seen no structure. And I would love to find a painter, man. I would love to find a painter and just tell him my idea and tell him what I saw, and let him put it in a picture so I can say, hey man, that's what it looked like, close to it, because I can't even probably get close to it, but my mind can describe it to a painter that he can actually put it into a picture, and I can say, hey, this is close. I would love to find that, because I want to put that picture up in my wall, and now to say that God showed me heaven, I don't know, but I will say, hey, that's up to you. That's up to you to decide. Only thing I can say is what he showed me, and what I asked him at the time, what he showed me. It's up to you to decide that. But this is my testimony of what God had showed me in a dream, and I really appreciate everyone listening to my testimony, and my experiences, and as far as dreams and what God have done in my life and doing in my family life, and still, I appreciate all your comments. I thank y'all for listening. Hey, pass this on to your loved ones, everybody. God want me to get this message out. He want me to get this message out. I don't know why. Only thing I got to do is I just got to apply. I just got to do it. And so share with everyone you know, or anyone that God put on your heart to share it with. And also, hey, if you got a testimony, y'all, hey, share your testimony. There's power in your testimony. If you got something to share with God, hey, don't let nobody know anything hold you back, cause it's no telling what how your testimony will save someone's life, or the way God might have you to speak to them. So I encourage you to share your testimony. And if you don't want to, hey, and if you would like, and if you don't feel comfortable sharing it with them, hey, share it with me and I share it. And if you feel uncomfortable about me sharing it, please share your testimonies with me. And I love to hear what God is doing in people's lives, man. I love it. I get some joy about it, man. I really do. So this is my email. Again, it's testimoniesofgod111@gmail.com. Thank you for all the support, man. Thank you for all the love. Thank you for watching the videos. Hey, I really appreciate y'all. And y'all have a blessed day. Bye-bye. Be blessed.